I want to put in a emergency release for the rear hatch. Having removed that panel, I am going to take out all that fiberglass loft insulation. If it gets wet, it's just going to be a nightmare. So by putting my hand underneath here, I can feel the cable. It's here. The cable comes out, obviously down there, but comes out and round. The join is somewhere there. I think to attach anything to this cable so that I can put a cable down below is going to be very difficult without undoing an awful lot of stuff, which you do when you're changing that cable. In order to gain access to the cable in the boot, and it's beyond here, so you're going to have to take out in order to get through there. I'm not prepared to do that just to put another cable hanging down unless I ever have to replace it. For me, if it breaks, how am I going to deal with it? This pin there, that's the pin that is pulled back by the cable. That pin inserts into here like that, and that's what holds the boot lid down. If I remove that nut completely, that may mean I can insert something from inside the hatch when it's closed and push that pin back, which will release the boot lid. It's sort of slightly annoying that that bolt is almost exactly in line. Probably isn't, probably slightly off here with the hole. So what you can see is that there's a small hole there. I'm just going to try this long screwdriver, but you need something that will go through that hole, and then you can push against that. And it does look as if there's a slight angle involved, which I have to come in at. From inside leaning across, if I push the board down, I can just see that hole there, and it's that hole that I need to gain access to. To get this to work, what I had to do was grind down this diameter to a thinner diameter. And the reason for that was because this thick bit, although it would go through the hole, when I push the pin out of the way, all that would happen is the screwdriver would take the place of the pin. And when I pull the screwdriver out, the pin would replace the screwdriver. And so the hatch still wouldn't open. By making it thinner, was able to have enough slop in the hole so that when I pushed the screwdriver in, it clicked up enough so that when I took the screwdriver out, the pin was no longer holding the hatch. So you can see where the hole is, and it has worked. This is the second time I'm doing it. So with this thinner blade, I can push it through the pin that's actually attached to the top of the hatch to the pin that is holding it. I don't know if you heard that go, there was a slight thump. It's too heavy to open from the inside, and now you can undo it. So for me, I'm going to leave that knurled nut off. I was able to push that down enough so that I could get the screwdriver through there with enough slop so I could just push the pin and it would click off. Because there's a plate on top, in order to get to that hole there to put the screwdriver through to create the emergency release, I need to drill a hole in there. So that is the final result, with a hole drilled in line and then repainted with satin black. The diameter of the thin bit of screwdriver is about 3.4 millimeters, and that seems to work, whereas the original thickness of 4.15 was just too thick. So not a lot of difference. I'll mark that as my emergency boot release. I had to use a screwdriver like that, of that sort of length, to get enough leverage and position to push that pin out of the way.